want to watch.
How's it going, guys? Welcome to Fatberg, and today we have another movie review for you. I watched this one digitally, so I don't have anything to show you. I got a controller. I got that to show you. I got nothing movie related for you. If I was to describe this movie in one word, it would be sticky. So you see, I started watching this without the expectation that it would be a Fatberg-worthy piece of media. I had some idea of the content, but I didn't pick it for that. All right. So today we're going to be talking about the movie High Life. And the reason I started watching it is mostly I thought it sounded similar to the film Sunshine, which is one of my all-time favorite movies, honestly. It's in my top 10 at least. But yeah, after watching it, it was pretty fucking gross. To begin, High Life is a 2018 drama film starring Robert Pattinson as a death row inmate turned astronaut. The movie takes place in the future. We're not given a set time frame exactly. It doesn't seem too highly futuristic, but they have near speed of light travel, so I'm going to say pretty distant future. Now, for some reason or another, the government has opted to use convicts for dangerous experiments in space. I don't think they ever explicitly say, but it is implied they are offered their freedom in exchange for participating. However, secretly, they are unexpected to return. These missions are all pretty much doomed to fail, maybe not intentionally, but it's all high risk. Pattinson's character and his crew are doing a twofold experiment. Their primary objective is to utilize the energy of a black hole for their return flight, it would seem. And secondly, an experiment to attempt to conceive a child in space, where apparently, at least, I don't know if this is true, but the radiation makes it impossible. The conception experiment had mostly been abandoned by the crew, and they are just going along with it so the doctor running it will give them drugs, but they quickly had realized that this experiment was doomed to fail, and only the doctor has any real ambition left. The movie, however, does a few time skips, and where we actually start off, the crew, except for Pattinson and a baby, are dead. The ship is on its last leg and slowly barreling into a black hole, and over the course of the film, we will find out the events leading up to this moment. This is a very intense drama movie. Not only is the overall atmosphere coated with a sense of dread, the crew knows at this point they are likely not to return. But given that the ship is staffed by convicts, there is some violence stemming from the crew's past and their degrading mental states. Now, speaking of their past, some of the implications are that some of the crew members were not deserving of their death row sentence and were simply put undesirables. Some of them were drug addicts. Maybe there was something race related with the decisions. But one thing that is kind of vaguely hinted at is that there were some misunderstandings with their sentencing. There's a few characters who probably didn't do anything at all. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Robert Pattinson as an actor, and his delivery here just didn't interest me exactly. He didn't do a bad job. I mean, he is a good actor, but he's got that tone. What's that one fucking lady's name? something Stewart. It's dull. He's got a dull delivery, and it just didn't do enough to give life to the character. At times it works. Clearly this is supposed to be more of a, subdued personality. But most of the time it's just kind of boring, and I feel like there's multiple instances where, like, this guy could have reacted a little bit harder to what's going on.
At that point, we'd only left the solar system for 3 years. Almost all of us were still alive. Constant acceleration creates artificial gravity, freeing us from the discomfort of weightlessness.
And again, he did a good job acting here. It's just the tone. I wish there was more life to it. Pretty much everyone else here did a better job and had a more interesting character. Mia Goth's character, for instance, I thought was excellent, and as per usual, she did a great fucking job, as well as, I forget the lady's name, but the lady who played the lead doctor did a very good job. And speaking of as per usual, I would like to make an observation. And trigger warning. I'll put one at the start of the video as well. The movie does have some triggering things, if you will. If you're on my channel, you should probably already kind of expect some shit. But why the fuck does Mia Goth get raped in every single fucking movie she's in? Has anybody else noticed this? Somebody at A24 is fucking out to get this lady or some shit. I don't think she's picking these roles. But I noticed this, around the time, what was it, A Cure for Wellness came out. I saw that, and she gets in that. And there was another movie that came out around that same time where she is, like, sold for sexual favors, and the fucking list just keeps going. Every goddamn movie. I haven't seen the X movies yet, but I imagine she probably fucking has some issues there. just an observation. The plot overall is actually really good. I enjoyed the story throughout. I do feel the ending was a bit anticlimactic, but it seems deliberate from what I can tell, and it's supposed to be left to interpretation, I think. You do get invested in most of the characters. Some of the people on the ship should have been more fleshed out, like the captain, for instance, but clearly they just weren't meant to be front and center. So I'll cut them some slack on that. Honestly, my biggest complaint is probably the set. And honestly, like, I can't think of a lot of movies where I've been displeased with the fucking set. But this is one of them. It's just not very good. Clearly some budget limitations were at play here. It just doesn't really feel like a spaceship to me, and some shots just look bad. Also, the layout of the ship is super unclear. Like, it's almost like they rented some space somewhere and kind of had to fucking use what they could, and it makes the layout of the ship seem kind of off. But again, it's very vague to begin with. I'll show some examples of things that just didn't look good, though, in this movie. But again, the whole movie is just very vague as a whole, both in terms of plot and what's happening. I will say my subtitles weren't working on this. And the movie is really goddamn quiet, so maybe I just missed some stuff, and it made things seem a little weird. In terms of the effects, they were mostly good. Again, there is some violent and, like, graphic scenes, and they all look very realistic, and some of the shots of space and the black hole are all really cool. Also, just to point this out, cum don't look like that. That's like ranch dressing or something, and I'm pretty sure they used the same fluid for the fucking jasm as they did for the titty milk that appears in the movie, and I just want... Another observation I'd like to make, cum don't look like that. Another thing I'll mention here in terms of the effects is, again, there is a time skip, and I didn't even realize it happened. Going off of the age of the kid in the movie, it's probably between like 10 to 12 years or so. And Pattinson looks almost exactly the fucking same. And the movie doesn't tell you it happened, like, right away. I didn't realize what I was looking at till I noticed, like, a new crew member aboard. And then I realized, oh shit, that was the baby at the start of the movie. Like, that was how I realized the time skip had happened, because Pattinson looks the fucking same. This is more of a realistic portrayal of space, so it's dark and empty. It's not all, like, fantastical and crazy. So there's not a lot of effects really going on here, but what they do looks fine for the most part. The audio and the soundtrack, again, fine. Nothing to really note here. Just, again, the fact the dialogue was really, really quiet. Like, notably quiet. I know society as a whole is fucking going deaf and slowly falling in love with subtitles again, but this one is actually too quiet. This movie could have spent so much more gross with some well-placed audio, I will say. I'm not really sure exactly why the movie was as sexually charged as it was, but I can't complain. I mean, it does... It does create some drama, and it keeps the plot moving, so it's fine, whatever, it works. I can't stress this enough, it was a gross movie. Like, not like, I don't know what I'd compare it to exactly, but there's just a lot of weird, fucking sticky, slimy scenes thrown in, almost seemingly for no reason, but again, they make it work, it's fine. It doesn't feel out of place exactly. If I was to rate this movie out of 10... probably give it like a 7.5. It was enjoyable to watch. I liked the plot. I liked the idea behind the movie. I just wish everything was laid out a little bit better and things were just clearer as to what was going on. I really did feel kind of lost watching it. Like, I didn't gather the specifics as to what's happening. And maybe one of these days I'll rewatch it with a pair of fucking headphones and really try to gather things. But it all just felt vague. And, like, up to some amount of interpretation. Again, so many things is like, is that how that works? Like, what's happening right now? Where the fuck are we? But I also feel like a lot of those things just weren't the point exactly. And, yeah, 7.5 feels good. It was an enjoyable watch, and I think the plot was okay. The acting was good, and it was somewhat unique, you know? It is interesting. And that's the most important fucking part for a movie for me, is it's just got to be interesting, and this was it. Go check it out. It's from 2018 if you haven't seen it yet. It kind of flew under the radar. I don't remember hearing about it, but I enjoyed it.